So, when we talk about the future of the internet, what are we really talking about? Is it just Web 3.0, Web 4.0? No, it's way bigger than that. What we're actually seeing is this epic story unfolding, a real battle of ideas over who gets to control our digital world. We're on this wild ride from the internet we use every day to one that, well, knows us better than we know ourselves. And let me tell you, the stakes have never, ever been higher.
This really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? Just think about that for a second. An internet that's not just a tool you use, but a true partner. It doesn't just sit there waiting for you to type something in. It's already working for you, anticipating what you need before you even know you need it. Sounds amazing, right? But here's the catch, and it's a big one. Getting there means we have to decide what we're willing to trade away.
And this is the whole story in one shot. It all boils down to this constant tug-of-war between three massive forces: control, freedom, and now automation. You know, Web 2.0 was all about control. We got amazing, convenient stuff, but big companies held all the keys. Then Web 3.0 came along as this rebellion, screaming freedom. But let's be honest, it was kind of a mess to use. And now, Web 4.0 is dangling this incredible carrot of automation, which is forcing us to ask some really tough questions about what we actually want from the internet. All right, so let's start with where we are right now. Web 2.0. This is the internet you're probably on at this very moment. And look, it was a game changer. It took us from just being spectators to being the main event. Creators, posters, influencers, the whole deal. But, and you knew there was a but coming, all that amazing interactivity came with a price tag, one that was kind of hidden in the fine print. And it's a trade-off that shapes literally everything we do online today. So what's the engine making all this run? It's this: centralization. Think of it like this. Every time you like a photo, share a video, or leave a comment, that little piece of you gets sucked up into these gigantic data centers owned by like a handful of companies. And this isn't some boring tech spec, no way. This is the very business model that makes all those free apps on your phone possible. And the consequences? Well, they're right here, and they're pretty stark. You're not the customer, your attention is the product being sold. That amazing content you create, in their eyes, that's free labor. And you probably agreed in the terms of service, you know, the thing nobody reads, to give them the right to use it forever. The worst part? All your stuff, your digital life, is trapped inside these walled gardens. You can't just pick it up and move it somewhere else. They own the playground. Look, let's just call it what it is. The deal with Web 2.0 is simple. You trade your privacy for convenience. That's the bargain. You get these incredible world-connecting tools for free, but the price you pay is being a citizen in a surveillance economy. Every move you make online is tracked, analyzed, and turned into profit. And this isn't just about ads. This system has huge, real-world consequences. Those algorithms that are so good at keeping you hooked on your phone, their main job is engagement. And it turns out that extreme, polarizing stuff gets a lot of engagement. So it gets amplified. It creates these filter bubbles where you only see things you already agree with. And what's the end result? We all end up living in our own personalized, sometimes totally warped, digital universe. So, faced with this world of walled gardens and corporate control, a rebellion started to brew. Enter Web 3.0. This was the ideological counterpunch. The whole idea was to tear down those walls and hand the keys back to us, the users. A noble goal, right? The problem was, this new digital Wild West turned out to be, well, a lot more wild and dangerous than anyone really planned for. The big idea behind Web 3.0 is actually pretty simple and powerful. You know, Web 1.0 was read-only. Web 2.0 let us read and write. Web 3.0 wanted to add the most important word of all: own. The dream was to use things like blockchain to build an internet where you, not some giant corporation, had provable ownership of your stuff. Your data, your digital assets, your online identity, all of it, truly yours. But yeah, the dream of ownership slammed headfirst into a very harsh reality. Just look at this number, $1.4 billion. That's how much was lost to hacks and scams in just the first 6 months of 2024. Turns out being your own bank is really, really risky. All that freedom came with a price, and for a lot of people, it was just too high. It's hard to trust a system that's hemorrhaging that much cash. And even if you weren't worried about getting hacked, just using the thing was a nightmare. I mean, come on. First, you need a wallet with a password that's like 100 random words. Then you have to go buy some magic internet money. Then you have to figure out these super clunky apps and pay these things called gas fees that changed every 5 minutes. It's just too much.
Compared to the one-click simplicity of Web 2.0, this was a massive step backward for the average user.
So yeah, to put it bluntly, the Web 3.0 rebellion kind of fizzled. Why? Well, a bunch of reasons. The tech itself is often too slow for prime time. The rules and regulations are a total Wild West, which scares people off. And maybe the biggest problem of all? Everyone's already on Instagram and TikTok. Getting billions of people to jump ship is a monumental task. That tiny adoption number says it all. The revolution just hasn't happened.
Yet.
Okay, so Web 2.0 has us in its grip, Web 3.0 is struggling to break free, and then a new player walks onto the field. And this one isn't just trying to play by the old rules, it's trying to rewrite the entire rulebook. We're talking about Web 4.0, what some are calling the Symbiotic Web. And this isn't just an upgrade, it's a complete paradigm shift. We're talking about an internet that doesn't just work for you, but with you.
So what does that actually mean, symbiotic web? The key word here is proactive. Forget today's chatbots that just sit there waiting for you to ask a question. Web 4.0 is about autonomous AI agents. Think of it like this. You don't just tell it, find me a cheap flight. You tell it, plan my entire vacation to Italy for next spring. And it just does it. It understands what you want, it makes a plan, and it executes. It's like having a whole team of personal assistants in your pocket, working around the clock.
But here we go again. A new, even bigger trade-off. For that AI assistant to be truly magical, to know you hate connecting through Chicago and that you always forget your mom's birthday, it needs to know everything. We're talking about giving it access to your emails, your calendar, your bank accounts, your health records, everything. The bargain isn't just your data for a free service anymore. Now it's about trading near total transparency for this ultimate automated convenience.
And you better believe this opens up a whole new can of worms for security. We're way past worrying about someone stealing your password. Now, a hacker could just talk to your AI agent and trick it into sending them all your money. They could poison its brain with bad data so it starts making terrible decisions for you. And when you have millions of these agents all talking to each other, one little bug could cause a catastrophic domino effect. The attack surface is absolutely massive. And beyond the crazy security risks, there's a huge societal question we have to face. If having a top-tier AI agent becomes the secret to getting ahead in life, to getting the best job, the best deals, the best everything, what happens to the people who can't afford one, or only have a free, ad-supported version? We're potentially staring down the barrel of a brand new and very deep form of inequality, the AI divide. Seriously, this could put the gap between the haves and have-nots on steroids. Imagine one person has a super genius AI managing their life and investments, while another person has nothing. That's not just a small advantage, that's a life-altering difference that could spiral out of control, making existing inequalities way, way worse. And that's before we even talk about the jobs. A whole lot of them could just disappear.
Okay, before we all panic and start preparing for the AI apocalypse, let's pump the brakes a little. This stuff is hard, like incredibly, insanely difficult and expensive to build. The reality is, a lot of these projects are just not working out. Gartner, a big research firm, thinks that almost half of them will get shut down in the next few years because they're just costing too much money for too little reward. So this hyper-automated future, it's definitely not a done deal.
So here we are, at a massive fork in the road. That big battle we talked about, control, freedom, and automation, it's all coming to a head right now. And depending on which force wins out, the internet we'll be using in just a few years could look radically different. Let's walk through 3 possible futures.
Scenario 1 is what you might call the path of least resistance. It's Web 2.5. Basically, the big tech companies we already know just get really, really good at AI. They bake it into everything they already do. So yeah, your favorite social media app gets a super smart assistant, but you're still living inside their walled garden. It's the internet we have now, just smarter and maybe even more controlling.
Scenario 2 is the dream, right? This is the one where we get our cake and eat it too. It's a hybrid. Imagine those brilliant autonomous AI agents from Web 4.0, but they're running on a decentralized Web 3.0 foundation. What does that mean? It means you get all the incredible convenience and power, but it's fueled by data that you own and you control. The best of both worlds.
And then there's Scenario 3. This is the move fast and break things future, and what gets broken is us. In this world, the race to build the most powerful AI is so intense that we just steamroll over all the big questions about privacy and fairness. We get the ultimate convenience, no doubt, but the cost is a world with zero privacy and a society split in two by that AI divide we talked about. It's a pretty bleak picture.
So here's the most important part of all of this. None of these futures are guaranteed. This isn't a movie we're just watching. It's being built right now, with every app we choose to use, every company we support, and every privacy setting we click accept on without reading. Whether we end up in a controlled Web 2.5, an empowering hybrid world, or a fractured Web 4.0 is up to us. So the real question isn't what's going to happen. The real question is, which future will you help build?